So, other units where we started the work a little bit less than a week ago, or just about a week ago. This flooring is pretty well adhered to the floor, I think, although we won't be able to get rid of marks like that. Scattered a little bit throughout the floor. We should be able to polish it and put a good shine to it. I got this window that's going to come on the front for about $25, which is a great deal. I'll have to replace all the switches. There hasn't been any electrical work that's been done here, except for bad work like this, which is a 110 volt outlet, which has been wired as a 240 volts, which can burn anything that you put in there, plug in there, because it's the same circuit as the heater. There I pulled up a bunch of bird's nest debris from there and cleaned it up. That's a new 110 volt outlet for the AC, and this will be turned into a normal 220 outlet. There we pulled up the floor, about 3 layers of old floor, and starting to prep the walls so that we can patch it up correctly. Also, because the outlets seem to be original to the house, these guys, I'm going to replace all of them because they're so caked with paint. So replacing all the outlets, all the switches, like that. That's looking pretty bad, with some corrosion on the hardware brackets themselves. That's the water heater. I'm going to have to work on that also. I don't think the water heater is bad itself, but when they installed it, they didn't pay attention to things like this, where they bent the pipe and there's hardly any water getting through, because it's bent flat all the way underneath. So it's pinched. So I'm going to have to pull it away, cut it back down over there, and replace the section with PEX, which can actually take the bend, and we'll most likely do the same here. Right there. I don't know if we can get a better view of it. See how flat, but this one is less flat than the one on the right side, and it's still not really good. It just makes very bad flow going to the hot water fixtures. I had to remove the cabinet here. That was the bottom shelf here in pieces now. The whole base of the wall is rotted out. There's supposed to be a board that goes on the bottom here. That's supposed to be pressure treated to resist moisture and water. That's among the things that I discovered after starting to tear the wall down. So I'm going to cut the whole wall here about 4 feet so I can put a 4-sheet of sheetrock back on. It's just easier, and cover all that up and go all the way to the corner after I pull out the water heater. So I can fix all that, keep any cracks from coming in, and keep the bugs from festering in the walls and coming out and whatnot. That's another one of the fun things here. Can't really see it well, but the outlet was actually all burnt out on the side, and this wire had been shorted out. You can see it's bare right there. Well, you can't really see, but trust me, it is. So replacing the outlet is only natural on that. The upper cabinets, I don't know if we had a close look last time, but the face frame is pulling out, and the sides from the top here, so I'm going to have to take them down, fix them. You can see how it cracks in the back. Fix them right, put them back together, and then fasten them back to the wall. Other than that, they are salvageable. What else? This is the washer box. I already started taking it apart. That's that little section of pipe here for the drain that I pulled up. Used to stick through this hole. The pipe is still good. That's cast iron, and you can see the edge is still well preserved, so we don't need to do anything more than that. I will fix it with a PVC going up into the box. Cut those back also because it's kind of awkward the way they're organized here, and so that the new pipe can fit directly into the washer box. So that's one cut back here, the other one cut over here, and I'll continue it in PEX, solder an adapter, which I have right here, something like that to transition to PEX. There a little bit of framing on here. This thing is loose right there, so I'm gonna have to work on that. Probably gonna cut up the wall here also, up 4 feet all the way around. 4 feet, 4 feet. I think it's about this line here, where there's already a joint that shows up. And go all this around to the kitchen and all inside the bath here. Now, after taking the sink, that I had to replace the, actually it didn't have any cutoff supply valves. It only had this, which is basically an elbow, and then the supply line goes up from the elbow directly to the sink, unlike that, which is a cutoff valve here. And then it came to playing with a little drain pipe, which used to be right here, connecting back in there, which was rotted. Actually rotted, it was corroded, so that it was loose, it was just jiggling up and down. So pulled it out, and then the whole thing was full of junk in it, so very bad drainage flow. This one didn't pull out clean, so I had to sweat the adapter off. I don't know if I can find it here. There's a bunch of debris. Well, I won't bother. But it was just like that, called a drop your elbow, and then you have a pipe fitting that comes out through the wall, and then you have, well, you see it just like that. But this one is in galvanized, which has a tendency to corrode inside, and then it gets smaller and smaller as the built-up, well, as the corrosion builds up. Basically rust building up on the inside as the water flow and constricts it. So I'm going to replace that one with a brass or stainless steel piece, so that we do not have that problem in the future. All the rest of the plumbing, the supply is good. It's all copper, no problem with that. That's a 1/4-ton ball valve. I'm going to reuse that. The stack cast iron, it looks fairly good. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. That's going to last another several decades at least. The whole shower surround is looking very nasty and will be replaced. That's, yeah, pretty nasty. What else? So yeah, I'm planning on taking off this elbow here, or sanitary tee. And the threads here seem to be in pretty good condition in the back, so I'm going to keep that and just transition from here to PVC. And then that goes towards the kitchen sink on that side, and I did something funky where they just corked in directly the, let's go around to the other side. They corked in the piece because probably, see this piece here, which goes in an accordion like that, it's a flexible. You see, that's just a little part of it. A flexible, and it went directly to the drain for the sink. It seemed like they didn't have a clear shot around it or something to screw onto, so they just caught the whole thing in. These I'm going to replace also the little the nipples, make them a little bit longer so they stick a little bit further into the cabinet and easier, because these are also galvanized, so I'm going to replace them with copper stainless steel and keep these valves. Those are just perfectly good. Other than that, just the usual stuff. That's the bulk of the work, the plumbing here, and then the electrical, replacing all the outlets and whatnot. I already did the work, the rough-in work for the smoke detectors. That's going to be the plug for the washing machine. I'm going to add make this into a double outlet, so I can add a GFI outlet here and the switch, and then I'm going to borrow a ground wire from this side right here. That's the ground wire for the GFI. What else? Yeah, all the VCT tiles are going to come to about here. I'm going to patch this and then refinish the floor here. It's salvageable, it's not perfect condition, but it's even better than the living room. I can see a bunch of little holes on the wall that we're going to patch as part of the sheetrock prep or paint preparation. Yeah, that's it. It's not too bad. Yeah, this room. We're just going to put carpet down here and paint everything a nicer color than this awful pink. So pulled out the excess wire that was from telephone lines and whatnot, as those are just rarely used anymore. Oops. Rarely used, and just leave the cable wire, put a couple of plates to finish it off. But that's about it. So I will post this and email you the link to the video. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.